taking the money out of the overhead, wasteful spending, not spending money on advertising when we don't need to, not spending money on IT projects, many of which have been not very successful, getting out of properties we don't need to be into. I mean, we've exited properties with the equivalent space of 70 Wembley pitches. So by simply saying no property leases signed, no break point in the lease passed without my personal consent, that's meant we've got out a huge amount of property. So we're saving money. We've renegotiated with the bigger suppliers to government and saved £800 million. No organisation achieves a state of perfection in terms of being perfectly efficient. There's always more you can do, and we'll never stop looking, because actually taxpayers, whether you work in the public sector or not, you want your money to be spent well. You want it to be spent on the frontline services on which vulnerable people depend. You don't want it to be spent on pointless advertising campaigns that are basically about politicians' vanity. These are not a few easy steps. It's hard work, this, and it's unglamorous. It's getting under the skin of some of the commercial arrangements in government, and saying, for example, that if we buy office supplies across government, use the whole of the power of government, we're the biggest customer there is, and we should get better prices. We pay quickly. We're the best credit. We should get really good terms. We haven't done in the past. When Ed Miliband was doing my job, he didn't bother with any of this. He thought this was far too mundane for him. And yet this is what taxpayers' money gets spent on, and we have an obligation to make sure the money is spent on what it should be spent on, not on waste.